Hey everyone! Oh my goodness, today is a beautiful day. It is a great day to be above ground. Let's just do a quick test. Let me know if you're hearing me and seeing me well. All the people who are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, let me know if you're hearing and seeing me. Put yes in the comments, or I'm hearing you, Corinne. Say something to me so that I know that you're hearing and seeing me. Nobody's hearing and seeing me. Am I muted? No, I'm not. Nobody. Oh, Missy. Is it Miss My Ray? Miss My Ray Ray. Miss My Ray Ray? Welcome, and thank you so much for acknowledging that and confirming that for me. I appreciate that. So again, my name is Corinne Lafont, but you could call me Corinne. I can work with that. And it's great to have you here. We want to first thank you for taking the time on your Saturday, your lunchtime, if it's a lunchtime, or wherever you are in the world. Let us know where you're watching and listening to us from. And when I say us, I mean myself and the special guest speaker that you'll be seeing and hearing shortly. So tell us where you're watching and listening to us from in the world. We would love to know which part of the world you are at. I am in Trinidad and Tobago, and the guest speaker, she's actually Jamaican, but she's in the US for now until we send her back to Jamaica. That's the plan. But but thank you so much for taking your time out and spending it with us. You're going to be spending about 90 minutes if you have carved out that time, as you would have seen when you registered. So you would be spending 90 minutes with us. And in that 90 minutes, we hope you would leave with some great value, with some pep in your step, with some tips, some strategies, whatever it may be that you leave with. Hey, Atlanta, Miss My Ray Ray. Yes, very good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, Virginia. Wait a minute. Is it only the US in the house? Where are my Caribbean people? Where are my Caribbean people? While you're posting that, let me just say that we want to share a couple of QR codes, and I'm going to also put the links in the comments for you to click on. So what is happening is that, let me just come back here. The workbook, if you haven't bought the book for Tami's book, The Invisible Champion, it is supposed to be on discount. And so you can get that book right now. If you wish, you can purchase it. Let me just bring up the QR code here so that you can, let me see, where am I? Where is my stuff? Where is my stuff? I've lost everything here. Okay. So this is for you to get the book. So if you could scan that code, you'll be able to get the book at a discount, The Invisible Champion by Tami Daley. So you were encouraged when you registered to get a copy of the book. It is not compulsory, it is optional, but you are encouraged to purchase the book if you want to, and especially now since it's on a discount. And the workbook, the PDF download of the workbook is being given away today, the PDF download. So I will share that QR code in a while. I'm going to give a few seconds more for those who may be scanning the code for the Invisible Champion book. Yeah, they can scan it now. I will also put the links. So for persons who may not be able to access the QR code, I will also put the links in the chat. So don't worry, I got you covered. The workbook, which I'm going to share now, right? This QR code is for the workbook, the PDF download. So try and capture that so that you can also follow along, right? And if you're not using it right now, you can look back at the replay and be able to work through it if you wish. But try and grab that now. Why? Because the workbook is going to be on sale after today. It's only being given as a PDF in this live event. After this, it's going to be on sale. However, one lucky winner later down in the workshop, we are going to win a printed version of the workbook. We're going to be giving away a printed version of the workbook. And we're also going to be giving away 3 printed versions of the book, The Invisible Champion, signed by the author herself, Tami Daley. So there are 4 giveaways. 3 printed versions of the book itself, The Invisible Champion, signed by Tami, and the printed version of the workbook, right? So the link, the QR code that is on the screen is for the workbook. Try and grab that and download it. Also, coming down to the end when we are closing, I'm going to share another QR code and the link in the chat for your feedback. We really want to get your feedback on the event today, the workshop today, because feedback is what helps us to improve and to know what you want so that we can serve you better. All right. All right. Let me make sure I go through everything. Of course, you can communicate with us in the chat. I'm going to leave the QR code for the workbook up for those who may be coming in a little bit later. So we are, what was I saying? I can't even remember. So we're going to have the feedback survey a little bit later. Like I said, we're doing the giveaways. And let me just see here 1 second. Great. I think I covered everything. Oh, I'm also going to be sharing here how to connect with Tami. I'm trying to do all the housekeeping things. What I wanted to say to you is connect with us in the chat, okay? As you have been doing, feel free to put your questions, your comments, engage with us in the chat. It's going to show up at the bottom of the screen here. If you have any particular questions that you want to ask Tami as we go along, I'm going to highlight that. Of course, I'm going to highlight all your lovely comments and feedback on the screen because we want this to be a very interactive session. Let me see here. We're going to be connecting with Tami as well on IG. These links, I'm going to also put it in the chat so it's easy for you to click. Connect with her on Instagram. Some of you all are already on Instagram and may be connected with her. So feel free to do that. And also on Facebook, connect with her, right? If you wish to also connect with me, you can. Those links will be shared with you when you do the feedback survey. You'll be able to get access to my links when you fill out that. So make sure you fill out that so that you can connect with me. All right. The giveaway a little bit later. Let me hide this 1 second. Right. The giveaway, there's a special word that you're going to be using. We will tell you what that word is as we get a little bit later down. What you need to put in the comments so that we could run a live giveaway right here, transparent, no hanky-panky, no trying to interfere with anything. So we're going to run it live where you can see who is going to be the winner. So make sure you tell all your friends, your family to come in, anybody who can benefit from this workshop. And what is this workshop? Let me just remind you what this workshop is. How to step out of the shadows and into your power. How to step out of the shadows and into your power. You have made everyone else shine. Now it's your turn. And today couldn't have been a better day because we're at the end of the year. We're in December. And, you know, coming down in the quarter, the last quarter of the year, everybody's scrambling and trying to put things in place for the following year. They do things as resolutions, strategies for, you know, personal, professional life, what they don't want, what they want to leave behind, what they want to take on, who they're shedding, who they're letting go of. It's a lot of that sort of reflection that is going on. And so we're going to get really deep into the workshop shortly. Let me introduce now the guest speaker. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge Urith. Thank you so much. Happy Saturday. Wait a minute. It's only Tamika, you know. She's like, happy Saturday, Tamika. I'm on the screen, I don't understand. I want some love too. Okay. So thank you, Petrona. Thank you, Petrona. She's like, bless love everyone. That everyone is me and Tamika, not the rest of you guys. Okay. You're right. We're going to have a talk after this because you're only about to thank you. She's like, hello to you all. Anyway, let us go. Love here is only for Tamika. Listen, before the end of this workshop, you all need to give me some love. Anyway, so let me bring on Tamika. Welcome, Tamika.
Hi, Corinne. How are you?
I am beautiful. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
That's all you're doing good? You can,
Today I'm going. The sun is out today. The sun is out today. We have about 60 degrees, so I should be able to go for a walk after this. So I'm doing great.
you see, if you were in the Caribbean, you wouldn't be saying that.
I will be honest.
You could have done that any day, anytime,
That is
any
so
hour.
true.
Okay?
That is so true. Here we have to plan on it, but yeah, it's a good day.
It is a good day and it is a great day to be above. Oh, oh my God, Tamika, I'm getting love in the chat. I'm getting love in the
Hi,
Tamika is our guest speaker and author today. Now, she sent me a bio, people. Let me tell you, she sent me a little bio. I cut it down to about 1 or 2 lines. But here's what, normally when you come to events like this, people will give a nice bio, their whole, their degree and their this and their that. We're not doing all of that with Tamika today because it's family in here. It's family in here, it's friends in here, it's love in here. And Tamika, since I've met her, we realize, let me tell you what we share in common. We are both Virgos. Virgos in the house. Who's a Virgo? Please put Virgo in the house if you're a Virgo. Virgos. And we realized that we did our degree in the masters, the same degree in human resource development. Imagine that. I was in the first cohort at Mona, and she was in the 12th, which means the 12th year after me. That doesn't make me older, people. Let me just clear that up. I was just in the first. You're is Virgo too. Great, great. So yeah, we found out a few things about ourselves, and so that made the connection even stronger. But today she's your guest speaker. She's the author of The Invisible Champion. And we're going to go through 3 segments that is going to focus on 3 chapters of her book if you have read it. Chapter 3, Chapter 5, and Chapter 8. If you haven't read it, it's okay. I'm sure you'll be able to relate to what's going on. And of course, when you purchase the book, you'll be able to go even deeper. The PDF download of the workbook is available to you. And of course, giveaways are going to be done later. So don't worry, you're not losing out. There's no FOMO. There's no none of that. You're in the right place, people. You're in the right place. All right. Thank you so much, Yurit. And I hope you mean that for me and not for Tamika. All right. So, so let me let's get to know Tamika a little bit more. I'm going to put something up on the screen that she has in her book. Now, she doesn't know what I'm going to be asking her. All right. I'm going to put something up on the screen. Now, her book is called The Invisible Champion. But she has a quote in the book that also resonates with me. And it's actually my favorite poem by Marion Williamson. I remember, yes, I tell you, the more I talk to Tami, the more we are connected. When I discovered this particular quote by Marion Williamson, and let me just see if I can share it on the screen here. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. That is just the beginning of the longer poem. And if you understand and know the poem, and you should look it up by Marion Williamson, it talks about shrinking yourself to please others. And here's my question for Tami, in order for us to get to know her and to kind of get the ball rolling for the workshop. Why is it, Tami, that you decided to select this particular quote for your book? What is the connection? Why did this resonate with you?
It's funny that you should ask me that because this is actually my favorite quote as well. Well, I have a couple, but this is one of my favorite quotes as well. And someone sent it to me, the actual poem, someone sent it to me a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
I don't remember the occasion or why, but it was
Mhm.
something that resonated really well with me because what is funny about me, right, is that everything that I have been pushed to do or
Mhm.
forced to do, like I normally say, I do well.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't normally think I do well, but the feedback from others is that it's normally well. People tell me all the time that I'm great at public speaking. They don't see the meltdowns I have before I have to do it. And it's funny because I always try to hide, from these type of things. I don't
Mhm.
volunteer, I don't ask for it, and I will actually turn it down. But when I'm forced to do things, I normally I'm good at it. And it's an interesting thing because I have now come to realize, right, that
Mhm.
I have held myself back in a
Mhm.
lot of ways over the years, not because I thought that I wasn't able to do,
Mhm.
something. I just didn't want to be seen doing it. I've always
Mhm.
shied away from focused attention. I don't like it, right? Like this right now is me free falling out of my comfort zone, right? So I shy away from focused attention, and anything that is going to put me in the limelight is something that I don't do. So it's never because I think that I can't do it. It's just that the limelight is something that has always terrified me for, reasons I'm coming to learn, I guess.
What do you think is causing you to shrink into the shadows? Because it's not that you don't have the power or the capacity or the right attitude when it's given to you, whether you're pushed into it or not. It
Mhm,
is you just don't like it. And there are a lot of us, including myself,
mhm,
that really don't like the limelight. But when I have to go into it, or when we have to go into it, we do it, and we do it well according to everybody else, and they think you've been doing this for years, you're a natural. Why don't you do more of it? But it's not something that we will raise our hands and say, miss, yay, me. We are not the ones, but when called upon, we will do it. So why do you think? And even the audience can jump in. I see Urith
mhm.
is also saying she can relate. And I mean, you could put in the comments, Urith, and all the others could say, even Claudia, sorry for mispronouncing your name, is saying that they can relate. Why do you think that you're shrinking? Why is it comfortable?
That is, I think a lot of it probably has to do with how we're socialized,
Mhm.
at least from my perspective, right?
Mhm.
I grew up in the Caribbean, right?
Mhm.
And we had this thing, and there's some Jamaicans on here. So for people who were out there, confidence or exerting a lot of confidence was seen as someone being nuff. Nuff is the term that we normally use. And so you never wanted to be seen as too nuff. You never wanted to be seen as too much, right? Because somehow we learned along the way to equate humility with fading in the background, or to equate humility with being invisible. And so it's one of those things where you kind of learned it and you just proceeded with it. So for me, a lot of the what I noticed over the years is that whenever it seemed as if I was too out there, or if I was doing something and it seemed that it was on the verge of taking off, or too many people were showing up, then I faded back because I'm saying, okay, Tammy, you don't want to be too much, you don't want to be seen as enough, you don't want to be too out there. So I think it's cultural in a lot of the ways. I think it's maybe where we're from. In some instances, it could be a family trait that we are kind of taught to fade into the background. But I think it has a lot to do with equating humility with invisibility. And I'll tell you a story, right? Um, a long time ago when I was in college. I think I was about maybe 17 or so. We had professors or lecturers who would ask different students in the class to do the dictation, right? And I was one such student who would dictate, and the classmates would write notes, right? And I remember there was one day that I was doing this, and this guy in the class said, "Tamika, your voice is annoying." And I don't think that it resonated at the time. I think I probably shushed him and continued to do what I was doing, right? But for whatever reason, and sometimes when you get to a point in life when you reflect and you look back and you realize, wait a minute. So this actually affected me more than I thought it did, because it was after this that I started doing this, right? And so I realized that I faded, I think, in the background. There was a point in time when I was so annoyed by the sound of my own voice. Like, I didn't like to hear myself speak. And when I got to the point when I was speaking, I would be focused on how I sounded way more than what I was actually saying. And it was interesting. I remember distinctly now that I would refuse those opportunities after that moment. And I didn't realize it then, but I stopped volunteering to give the dictation. When I went to college, I was the kind of person who would be telling the person next to me the answer because I didn't want to say it. And it's just amazing how different things that happen to you over the course of your life affect you sometimes without you even knowing it.
Listen, what you're talking about is us subtly giving permission
Yes.
to others to decide what parts of ourselves to show and what parts of ourselves to hide.
Absolutely.
Because when you mention that story, I too can relate to that. When persons, I remember somebody significant to me at the time said, and it's especially persons who are probably significant, that probably matter to you, or depending on the environment that you're in, that could be an embarrassing situation. So it has more impact. But somebody had said to me, you like to talk, eh? And I'm like, or you like your own voice, kind of a thing. And I'm like, really? But I didn't stop. It just impacted me. And my response to that individual was, don't you worry. You wouldn't be hearing my voice pretty soon. And that is exactly what happened. I just cut off from the person. Since my voice is a problem to you, I would make sure you wouldn't hear it again, because nobody is really supposed to be shutting you up.
Yeah.
But I see people are saying here, let's just highlight some of their comments. Cordia is saying, yes, she has experience. We all have. So the thing about it, anybody's watching and listening to this, when somebody's going through something, it's not you alone. Just know that if it has happened to you, it has happened to others. It's just that how we react to it. What we do afterwards. Some recede, some decide they fight back, in whatever way, Miss Ray is saying, take back your power.
Yes.
Listen to me. That is what this is about, honey bun. We're taking back our power, right? We're stepping out into the light. We're not about shrinking anymore. So let's get into the workshop, and we're going straight into chapter 3. And chapter 3, let me just pull up my notes here 1 second to make sure that I stay on track. Chapter 3 is the reservoir of empathy. The reservoir of empathy. And the theme of that chapter is empathy as strength, as well as a hidden burden. Empathy as strength, as well as a hidden burden. That seemed to be like on one side there's good and evil, and the other side is evil. One side is strength, and then is a burden. It's like you're in the middle of the devil and the deep blue sea, right? I have a couple of questions for Tami concerning that chapter that we can learn from. And this workshop, if you notice, is not with slides, is not with any sort of lecture mode. This is a discussion interaction so that you all can engage with us. So under that chapter, the reservoir of empathy. And if you think of a reservoir, the imagery, you're thinking a lot of water, a lot of water, it's filled, it's flowing, it's constant. So it's like you have this cup overflowing. Here is a question for you, Tami. You mentioned giving people third and fourth, and I would even say fifth chances out of love. What was the moment when you realized that empathy without boundaries became self-betrayal?
Corinne, it took me way too long to figure that out, but I want to say that I have figured it out. So yay me, right? There was a moment when someone, the same person who I had given multiple fresh starts, hurt me in the same way, right?
Wow.
It wasn't the second and it wasn't the third time either, right? But what happened is that each time it was packed with a little bit more oomph, right? Like something else happened on top of that. And I realized that, okay, so this person clearly realizes that I don't care enough about myself, or I care more about them than me. And so they
Yes.
realized, or I allowed them to realize, that they could continue to get away with doing what they were doing, right? And for me, I think that I was in a position where I was always more concerned about how something affected everybody else. It was always about them, never me, right? And it was about the time when I started getting physically ill, right? I had to get physically ill before I realized that, okay, now is the time when I really should make a decision for myself, because it is now at the point where it's necessary. And the thing about it too is that when it happened again, I was more disappointed with myself than I was shocked at them, because at this point it had become the expectation. It was the norm that was bound to happen. And so I had to look into myself. And I think it was around about this time that I had started doing the work, right? I was realizing things about myself, because when you get to significant milestones or significant moments in your life, it kind of forces you to reflect, right? On, okay, so why am I here? How did I get here? What steps did I take, right? And it's all about what you do with that information. And I realized that I was calling it love, but it was really self-abandonment, right? I was giving more than I was getting. And the thing that I have come to realize, and it's funny though, because my mom is someone that says this all the time. I mean, she didn't make it up, but she says it all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's one thing to hear something over and over, but it's a whole other thing to kind of come to that realization on your own, come to that realization for yourself. And so for me, the shift was understanding that empathy is not an excuse to ignore your own needs, right? Because at the end of the day, if you keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, ultimately there's going to be nothing left, and both you and the individual you're pouring into are going to be empty. Nothing will be left. So it took me a long time, but the important thing is that I got there. And one of the reasons too about deciding to put some of the things that I put in the book, I wanted to take readers along for the struggle as well as the breakthrough. And that is why it was written in that format and in that tone. I didn't want to say, okay, well, this is what I learned and this is what you should do, right? I wanted to take people along so that they could experience the breakthrough as well, and learn the lessons along with me. And I want to hope and I want to think that I learned these lessons so everyone else doesn't have to, right?
Awesome. And you said some significant things there that I don't want us to overlook.
Mm-hmm.
One, you were right in saying that the person recognized, because this is what happens when we give permission to people to hurt us. We betray ourselves and they see that. They're like, oh, I got away with that. I am going to step it up even more. Because if I get away with this, I can do more and she will allow it. Right? So with you just letting it pass by and allowing and self-betraying and betraying your own self, you are actually communicating to the person, sure, keep abusing me. It's okay. I mean, and why not step it up? You know, why stop there? You know, that is what we were doing. And I am glad that you recognize it. It took you a while, but you recognize it. And yes, you are going to go through that sort of, I wouldn't want to say shame or guilt, but because that inner child in you started to come out and say, oh my God, thank you so much for recognizing me. It was that connection with your inner self that actually made you sad, because it was like, finally, you're seeing me. You know, finally, you're seeing me. And the part where you mentioned that it took, let's call it life and death, when you realize you were on the edge of losing yourself physically, physiologically, and mentally. That is the extent some of us go to please others. But the core thing, Tamika, is why, and we have to get, and a lot of us in the comments, because remember I said, this is not only about you. Your book is written, as you said, to help others to recognize themselves in it so that they can see it sooner rather than later. You know, our health must never be compromised.
Can you imagine?
Health physically, mentally, spiritually, financially must never, because it's like you're drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Exactly.
You're like, gulp, gulp, let me drink it, and waiting, watching them while you're drinking, gulp, gulp, right? What are some tips that you can, based on your experience, give us one, let's do one or two tips that you can share with persons based on that experience that you can share with others? Because I know for a fact, I don't have the stats, but I know that people are going through this right now.
So there was something I wrote in the book about borrowing the voice that you give to others, right? And I think as invisible champions, and I just saw someone in the comments mention something about having a caregiver spirit, right? And it is borrowing the voice that you give to others. Remember that you also need your attention. And I think what happens too, going back to that caregiver spirit, I'm a first daughter, I'm a mom, I was a big cousin, well, I am a big cousin, and I have held multiple leadership roles in corporate, right? So taking care of other people and being there for other people and making sure other people were okay was innate to me. So I think what's important is for us to always remember to check in with ourselves, you know, at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, check in with yourself, right? In the same way that you always remember to reach out to everyone else and ask them, are you okay? You know, what's going on? Because when I ask you if you're okay, I want to know if you're okay, right? So use that same voice and check in with yourself. You know, you're laying in bed at night, it's just you, you know, say, okay, am I okay? And there is a lot to be said for journaling. And I didn't realize that early enough, but there is so much to be said for journaling. This entire project, The Invisible Champion, came out of my journals. I was writing this book before I even actively realized that I was writing this book, right? And sometimes when you write things down, like, okay, what happened today? right, it gives you another perspective, and it's a reminder too, because a lot of the times you can go back into those same journals that you wrote, right, and you remember how you approached something or how something affected you, and it gives you, a little bit of ammunition, so to speak, in terms of how to handle the same thing again. And so it kind of helps for you not to continue to make the same decisions or to react the same way or to respond the same way. So it's just important to remember to check in with yourself and remember that you need your attention too, in the same way or more so than everybody else, because you have to be okay in order to ensure that everyone else is. Love yourself first and love
For
yourself
sure.
a little bit more.
For sure. It's always about us first. We have to make sure our cup is filled before we give everybody else. And hello, please.
Mhm.
Your cup is not to feed everybody. You drinking out of your own cup, people. Drink out of your own cup and stop sharing the tea with everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay? Stop sharing. You have to know it's not everybody. In the Caribbean, we have this thing that when people come to your house, you want to bring out the best.
That is
You-
so true.
right? You have it in your house. And this is so relatable to what you're saying. You have it in your house, you're not even using it. You buy up the little china and the special glass and the fork and spoon and cup, and and a day and you're wiping it, you're cleaning it up and you're packing it back in the cupboard. But you're not using it, for yourself to say, you know what? This is mine. I spend my money on it, and I go and sit down and eat out of my own plate, my cup, my china, and drink out of the special glass. You're not doing it. You wait till Tami and she friends coming over. And it's to show off, to say, yes, this is the best. You're giving the best. You see how the training is not, it's so insidious, and we don't realize that it's really probably the upbringing that interferes and dissipates into our everyday life, because we are actually doing what you're saying there with the same china and the plate and the cup. You wait till somebody else come and give them the best. You're not even giving your own self the best.
Exactly.
And it's your cup. What is this? Right? Let's move into another question from the same chapter, and then we will move on to the second chapter of the book, chapter 5. So we're still in chapter 3,
Mm-hmm.
the reservoir of empathy. What advice would you give to someone who is the go-to person for everyone else but has nobody to lean on?
So what I've come to realize is that is truly never the case. And it's something that took me such a long time to learn. But I think what happens, right, is that we think we have nobody because we believe that the burden is ours to bear and ours alone. And that empathy also comes in because we're thinking that, okay, I'm carrying this, but I cannot give it to Yurith because she won't be able to manage it. I can't give it to Phyllis because she won't be able to handle it. And that is what happens. And that's the problem that we have. So sometimes we think we have no one to go to because we don't allow ourselves to see them, or we are not open enough. One of the biggest things about Invisible Champions is that we are the epitome of the strong one, right? And so you have to maintain your reputation, so to speak, as being this strong one. And so you can't go to someone else and say, hey, I need help, or can you do this? Because then in that moment, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be that for you. How do I expect you to be that for me? And so that's one of the challenges and one of the things that we have to unlearn. I think too that there is a lot to be said for prayer, and everyone has their own views, as it relates to that. But what a lot of people need to realize too is that praying gives you another voice. Praying is also you checking in with yourself, because while you're praying and while you're going over whatever challenge you're having, you're also hearing yourself. So it centers you and it gives you another perspective, right? Writing it down also. And I am always going to go back to writing things down. Writing this things down is also helpful, to allow you to check in with yourself. And a lot of the times, the reason that we think we have no one to turn to is because we are not looking into the things that we are challenged with. We are not checking in with ourselves. We are not journaling. We are not praying, and we are not allowing ourselves to see the people around us, who could be there for us because we have made that decision for them. And two things can be true. It is possible that they may not be able to handle it, but how do you know? Did you ask? So that's one of the things. It's you think you have no one to go to because you have decided that they can't handle it, and that's not always the case.
And that I can relate with, because I tend to be the one to always put up my hand, or the one that everybody's looking for. And after a while, Tamika, I started to take a step back. I started keeping my hands down a little longer till the end, because nobody, when you're in a classroom and you're asked a question, or who is going to step up to do X, Y, and Z? Nobody. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why it has to be me putting up my hand first? And I said, no, I'm going to do like everybody else, because I am not going to be doing it. I don't want to be the frontish. And then you hear that. People will say, you're always the one putting up, but they are not doing it. So you're like, hello, these are adults in the room. You're not children. Step up, do whatever. And you're absolutely right. We make the assumption that we are the only ones that's gifted to do it. But where is that coming from? Again, that is being fed from something from our childhood that we are just playing out in our adulthood. It is fed from something or something somebody said or didn't say. It is fed. And this is the thing about the book. It helps us to spend time with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Spend time with yourself. It's like you get your little glass of wine or your cup of tea and you sit down with the book, your companion, and have that conversation. Have that conversation. Why? Why every time the boss is always looking to Tami to do this? They're calling on Tami. Tami have a regular job to do, but it's Tami doing all the additional projects and everybody else benefiting. Why? We also have to be very vocal, not vociferous, but use our voice to say, Corinne, would you be willing, or could you so and so, or even suggest she has the skills, or she mentioned to me before, that she wanted to learn about this particular role. Here's your opportunity. So it's really to lift others up at the same time, not put yourself down, but lift others up at the same time. What is your comment on that? I see you nodding.
That's the balance that we have to find, because I think what continues to happen is that we lift others above ourselves, and somehow in doing that, you think that you now need to hide, like you now need to fade into the background, and that's not always the case. And so it's about finding that balance. Mm-hmm. It's about finding that balance, which is difficult. And it's not an overnight thing. It's not easy, but it's finding the balance. And so we have to ensure that in lifting others, you are not shrinking. And we have to ensure that we also understand and know that we need help too. And I see, Phyllis saying we have to also learn how to accept the help. And that is one of the big things, learning to accept the help. Because sometimes it's there. You just learn to say, no, I'm good. I got it.
Yeah. And learn to ask for help, like you mentioned. Ask for the help, because it seems like you're weak. You can't figure it out. How, there is also a dynamic happening mentally. And again, that is coming from somewhere, because I don't think we wake up one morning and we decide, I am going to be this particular thing this way. No, these thoughts and feelings are coming from somewhere. You didn't just generate it like that. People, I see you're commenting. I thank you so much for engaging with us. We really appreciate that. You see, I'm quickly just sharing all your comments, as many as I can, because it's coming through so fast. All the people on IG, Facebook, and YouTube, we appreciate you. We are moving into segment 2 of the workshop. Here we are going into chapter 5. Chapter 5 is when humility becomes invisibility. So she did speak about humility. If you notice, that word has been coming up. We probably need to hashtag that. Hashtag humility. When humility becomes invisibility, that is something we need. Let's sit with that. Humility becomes invisibility. And I think that takes us full circle back to when we started about the shrinking.
Yeah.
And our upbringing is teaching us to be humble means stay quiet, don't talk too much, stay in the background, still show yourself, what you could do, but don't do too much. You're a bit too much, you're doing a bit too much. So it's shrinking, avoiding attention, and downplaying your contributions. Here's my question to Tamika. What is the hidden cost emotionally, professionally, and spiritually of constantly minimizing your contributions? What's the hidden cost? Is it hidden first to begin?
The cost is that people believe you. If you keep making yourself small, others assume that, okay, this is your true size, right? And so you lose opportunities, you lose recognition, you lose your sense of identity even. And over time, the full weight of what you actually bring to the table becomes lost in the sauce, right? Someone at work, I remember, a few years ago, someone came to me about a project that they thought, and it happened more than once. They came to me about a project that they thought I would be perfect for. And immediately, and as happened many times, immediately I pitched someone else. I said, really? So how about this person? They're doing amazing. Have you seen what they did with so-and-so, such and such? And that was always my thing, right? There was another occasion when I was working at a company that was going through a restructuring exercise, and a number of us were about to lose our jobs, and someone came to me and to mention an opportunity, and immediately, without knowing what the opportunity was, how many positions they had, if it was even a real thing, I was pushing other names into the mix. Have you considered this person? Have you considered that person? And I think one of the things that happens is that because you think you always have to champion other people, you figure that wherever it is that you're going, or whatever it is happening to you, like you have to share, you have to bring everybody else along, like it's your job. And so it has cost opportunities professionally, and a lot of the times too, when you're doing it, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm doing it again. This is my moment. How do I own my moment? But that's a hidden cost.
Abraham and Lot. Abraham and Lot. I'm hearing an echo. Abraham and Lot. Abraham was given everything, and he decided he's taking, is it his nephew or cousin, along. That was not the plan God had for Abraham. God told Abraham, all of this is yours. Take it and go XYZ. He said, no, man. I had to take my cousin with me or my nephew with me. He take Lot. And his quarrel, top, left, right, and center between him and Lot. No matter what he did, it was quarrel. He realized what God said to him, and he had to separate. When God gives you something, it is for you. But we always feel it is selfish because we have been told, you're selfish. How you could have so much money and then give to Tami and give to Petrona and give to Urit and you have them back home in Jamaica and in Trinidad and you're doing well and you're not even looking back. That is what happened to Abraham and Lot because he felt obligated. He couldn't leave his family behind. He had to take them. But what it caused? Confusion, problems, quarrel. And he had to separate in order for him to really succeed because it was meant for him. It is not selfish, right? So when you're telling and sharing that story about trying to pull everybody else and calling this one name and that one name, because you want everybody else to benefit as well. Not even thinking about you, you know. But look here, Tamika, them not thinking about you, you know. When opportunity come for them, you think they think, oh gosh, no, call Tami. What about they're not? They're not.
Remember.
You know, I see Phyllis is saying it's the Caribbean upbringing. Give to some people. What? Giving to some people becomes a curse. Yes. Yes. I lost Phyllis' comment here because these comments are moving like fast and furious. It's a Caribbean upbringing, right? And we have to, I think at this part of the journey that we're on, because it is a journey, it's a never-ending, in-progress journey. We have to learn to undo. You know, when you have a debriefing after an event, you have to debrief yourself and learn to let go of a lot of things that your parents taught you.
Yeah.
You know, that, and this is no disrespect to Petrona now. So you understand? We have to let go because we are on our own journey. What they went through is theirs. What we are going through is ours. And we have to find our own way in the life and the path we are navigating. Guys, this is getting deep here. This is getting deep, and I'm loving the comments. Let me come back to Tamika. We're still in chapter 5. We're in segment 2 of the workshop. What would you tell someone who feels invisible at work, even though they are usually the backbone of the team?
Those people don't know you. That's usually the thing. You're feeling invisible because you're hiding. You're feeling invisible because chances are you're giving your credit away. And so what is going to continue to happen is that you're going to continue to be overlooked. And I truly believe that there are many spaces where the work is its own reward, but your place of employment is not one of them. You're there to be compensated for the work that you do. And what needs to happen is that if you're feeling invisible at work, you need to start documenting the things that you do, right? That's very important, because I think what happens with Invisible Champions too is that we get caught up in the work, where we get so caught up in the doing. And a lot of the times at the end of it, we truly forget. We don't remember, right? So document what it is that you're doing. I led that. I created that. You know, I'm responsible for that. Write it down. Then you have to find safe spaces to advocate for yourself. That advocacy at work is very important, right? And so I'm not saying, you know, go shout it in the halls or even bring it up in the team meeting. There are spaces for self-advocacy. Every company that I know has a performance appraisal in some way, shape, or form, right? So you see that self-assessment that you have before the appraisal, that is your opportunity to advocate for yourself. So you go back into wherever you wrote these things down and you record that I did this at this point in time. That's the important thing. You have to own it with yourself first. You have to accept it. If you don't have an option to complete a self-assessment, then before your appraisal, you want to send an email to your supervisor or to your manager and say, hey, I just want to make sure that these things are on your radar. these are the things that I am responsible for. Because one of the things we do too, we assume that, oh, they're supposed to know or they should have seen this. But we have to also learn to give people grace. They may not know. And if every time someone comes to you, you position someone else to take the credit for something that you did, then they really won't know. So yes, write it down, own it, and advocate for yourself in your appraisals. That's where you start. Advocacy is important.
Advocate for yourself. And you're not too much if you do it.
Exactly.
And what comes back to me is when they say self-praise is no praise at all. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Let me tell you. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Because if you're sitting waiting for somebody to acknowledge you and praise you, you're not going to get it. You need to start with you. People, are you recognizing that the book and everything we're talking about, it starts with you? Probably we need to rename the book. It starts with us. Right? It starts with you, loving on you, appreciating you, working on you, listening to you, right? Advocating for you, being selfish. And selfish is not a negative word. You know, growing up, that word selfish was always a negative word. You have your little cookie and you have to share the cookie. Why you have to share the cookie? Why you have a slice of cake? Why you have to share the cake in four? Why? Why? Why can't I sit with my slice of cake and have it for myself? If I eat it for myself, it's like, why are you so selfish? Share with your brothers and sisters. No, the cake is for me. I want to enjoy the cake for myself. You understand? So we need to come back to us. You know, this is a return. It's a return to ourselves. Just like how we talk about Abraham and Lot, it's a return to God. And we are in the image and likeness. We have to return to ourselves and stop putting the focus on everybody else, but return to ourselves. Oh my God, these people are going crazy in the chat. What is going on here? You all slow down. I'm trying to keep. This is wonderful. Thank you guys so much. I'm seeing, oh, Phyllis is saying her father died putting oh my God, no, Phyllis. Her father died putting everyone first. Isn't that something? That alone should make you change the whole trajectory. Stop putting everyone first. We're not saying to ignore them completely, you know, but you must be discerning enough to be able to say who you give your energy to and when and why and how. It's not for somebody else to dictate how much of your capacity, how much of that cup you should give. Am I right, Tamika?
You're completely right. Yes, you are. I mean, it goes back to, pouring from your overflow, because that's really what you should do. You shouldn't be emptying your cup to fill someone else's up. That literally makes no sense.
Yeah. People, we're moving expeditiously into segment 3. Yes. So we're on chapter 8. And the focus of chapter 8. Well, let me tell you what chapter 8's title is, a chapter title. Owning my wins. Isn't that a great way to kind of round up everything? Owning my wins without the spotlight. So you're able to balance that. Owning my wins. The theme of this chapter is about what were we saying before? Internal validation, accepting compliments. This is a major one. I know the chat going to go crazy with this one. Internal validation, accepting compliments, and reframing your self-worth. Here's my question to you. You talk about learning to say thank you without deflecting. What was the hardest compliment you ever forced yourself to accept? And why did it feel so uncomfortable?
Let me think about that for a second. The hardest one I ever forced myself to accept. So, over the years, I have always written. I've always been written. I've always been the editor for stuff. People come to me to write things. I have, written essays for people even. So I've always done that. And over the years, many people told me that based on articles I wrote here or there, people told me that I should write a book. And I just thought, really, who wants to hear what I have to say? But I have written a book. And so that would be the hardest compliment that I forced myself to accept, because many people told me that over the years, and I finally decided to do it. But I think the reason that it happened this way was because I mentioned before that you have various points in your life when you kind of pause and reflect on where you are and how you got here. And I have been doing this work for a while, because I mentioned earlier too that I didn't actively start out by writing this book. I was journaling, right?
Mhm.
And then at another moment in time, when I was doing some self-reflection, I was going back to these journals. That's also helpful to go back and read your journals. I went back and I was kind of seeing the progress that I have made, and I saw, some of the things that I did, and the fact that the work continues. And I just thought now was a good time to share that with people, and how best to do it than to write the book that everybody always told me that I could write. So that's how we ended up here.
Journaling and even taking pictures of yourself is not something I like to do. I'm not a pictures person. Believe me, I am not the one that's rushing at the front to take pictures. If you notice my LinkedIn profile, if anybody connects with me, you will not see pictures of me, selfies. You may see clips or videos when I'm on, podcasts and things like that, and people are promoting. But I am not one to, rush for the spotlight.
Yeah.
But journaling and taking pictures of yourself helps to
Important.
show your growth, because we tend to forget. We tend to forget. And one imagery that comes to me when I lived in Jamaica, and yes, people, I lived in Jamaica for 21 years, and I lived in Kingston. And the one imagery that comes to me, there's a place that everybody here who is from Jamaica would know, Emancipation Park. It was a dust bowl. They call it a dust bowl at the time, years ago. And now it is a beautiful, massive park in Kingston that people use. I mean, from every age and stage. People come out in the mornings to walk early mornings. On Sundays, there's always some activity. Older folks sit down, they have these chess
Yeah.
seating and set up there for old men to sit down and play chess. They have a walking path around. So for people who just want to come out and walk or jog or whatever, people have weddings, come and take pictures because the place is so beautiful. And the sculpture is there, which has made international, with the sculpture. A water fountain is beautiful. Now, if pictures were not taken of that spot, that massive piece of land before, nobody now would have realized what it was before. Nobody would believe that what we are seeing today was that dust bowl, just pure sand and the wind, because in New Kingston, the wind it's very breezy and it picks up a lot. People were having allergies and all sorts of things. Nobody would believe. That is a significant thing. So taking pictures, watching yourself, seeing your growth, documenting it, it is very, very important, because you don't remember. It's not that you haven't seen the place or seen yourself before, because you look at yourself in the mirror in passing, or you're making up your face, whatever. But you don't really see it until you sit down and you're like, wow, that was me. I have really grown. And it's important for us to have that validation, not for somebody else to tell you,
Yeah.
but for you to see it yourself. That's important. I see you, Rita, saying that's good. Yeah, she said the park, she loves it. Yes. Everybody's supposed to know that park. If you don't, it's like a heritage site you need to go. It's lovely. So I'm reinforcing that point that Tammy made about the journaling. And you just never know. You may become like Tammy as well and end up publishing a book from your journals, because it can help one person. Never believe that your story cannot help somebody else. It can help one person. That's all you need. You don't need like the 10 people who are watching us here at the moment and sending love. You just need one, and that one will tell another one.
Mm-hmm.
Here is my other question to you, Tammy. We're still in chapter 8, segment 3. This is our final, and we're wrapping up in the workshop. What daily or weekly practice do you recommend for someone who wants to start recognizing their own wins?
So I think we are going to keep talking about this writing things down, right? But
Yes.
I think that one of the things that I do right now in terms of checking in with myself is to, at the beginning of the week, I make a list of things to do, and on that list of things to do, I try to ensure that I include myself, right? So do I want to drink more water this week? Do I want to move more this week? So am I going to be taking a 30-minute walk, right? And so for me, I think what we can do is start small. Write down little things that you want to accomplish, whether it is daily, whether it is weekly. And at the end of the day, go back and look at it, because you're going to be tracking this list, right? Go back and look at it and just highlight the things that you actually did well, right? I think our brains automatically tend to focus on all the things that didn't go right. I mean, that's easier. And so in order for us to be able to focus on the things that went well, we have to consciously do that. It's not going to be automatic, right? So not what you did excellently, what you did well this week. And it starts with kind of recognizing, and start small, writing down the things that you want to accomplish and checking back in with that list periodically, daily, midweek, whatever, and just highlighting the things that you did well. It's a retraining of the mind. It's a muscle. I'm going to tell you something really quickly. My son is 7. And when my son goes to the barber, as soon as his hair gets done, as soon as it's done, he looks into the mirror and he says, "Mom, I'm so handsome." And I typically respond and I say, "Yes, oh my goodness, you are so handsome." And he says, "I know." And so in that moment, he doesn't need me to reinforce or revalidate what he already knows. He knows that he's handsome. He told me, so I didn't need to tell him back. And so that's what I mean by, retraining your mind, because it's a muscle. So start trying to put the focus on the things that you're accomplishing, the things that you're doing well, so that you don't automatically, focus on the things that are not going well.
I love your son, and I haven't met him yet. And let me tell you why I love your son. Because I have this thing. When somebody asks me, "How are you?" I said, "I'm young, cute, and sexy." I got attitude with it too. You understand? And it's amazing. They talk about affirmations, and speaking positively to yourself is important. Pouring into you. I'm sure we have all heard, if we haven't, about the 2 plans, the test for the 2 plans. Same conditions, everything is there. But the only variable is you talk to one positively every day and you talk to the other one negatively every day. Same conditions, light, pot, manual, whatever it is, same position. One, you talk positively, the other, you talk negatively every day. Which one you think is going to really blossom?
Right.
I don't wait for somebody to tell me something good. I tell myself that every day. If I pass in, I'm like, "Ooh, you look fine." You understand? Yeah, when I do my work and I'm like, wow, because you know what happened to me one time, Tamika? Because I write as well, and I will write like articles, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hired somebody to do some writing for me. And I said to her, I think I sent her the link because I can't remember what it was. And she reminded me. I said, "This was really well done." She's like, "Corinne, you wrote that." I was like, "What do you mean?" I couldn't even remember. She said, and she had to insist, "Corinne, you wrote that. I didn't do that." I was like, "No, you did this." She's like, "No." I was like, "No way could I believe that I wrote that." And it's not to say I'm incapable. I just thought she did it.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to remind me that I did something, and I was in shock. I couldn't believe, because when I do things, I just do it and let it go. I don't focus on it. I don't spend time. I just let it go. It's amazing. what it is to feed yourself. Don't wait for somebody to tell you you're beautiful or you look great or no, 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 no. Your wins, you own them. It's your win. Because there are people, if you're on a project that will feel, I don't know, like if something is being taken away from them, a minus, if they congratulate you, if they wish you well, it's like a part of them, a limb will fall off, a finger, a toe. I don't know. Something will happen if they actually say something good to you. I don't understand why. When actually, and you could attest to this, it's the opposite. If you pour and you congratulate and you wish someone well, it actually does something for you.
It absolutely does. Yeah.
It does something for you. Oh my goodness. Somebody who is saying this here now. This is Urith. Feed ourselves. That's really good. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody else know your son. Urith. Like he's adorable. I tell you, I love him already. Let's see here now. So I have set up the giveaway. Let me tell you what you need to put in the giveaway. I'm going to show it on the screen. This is what you guys need to do here now. Enter the word power, hashtag power, in the comments. Put it in the comments, hashtag power for the giveaway. And we're going to be running. Let's see here now. I'm going to give you all about a minute to do that. But hold on. I'm supposed to be sharing. I'm going to do that right now. At the end of each segment, I'm supposed to be sharing the testimonials. Tami, how could I forget? So while we're waiting for persons to put power in the chat, I'm going to be showing some testimonials. Here's some entertainment for you guys. And this is people who have read the book, have worked with Tami. Let's do that while people are putting the word hashtag power in the comments. Give me 1 second to run that here. Let's see. Where is it? My media. Let's start with.
It is truly a pleasure to be giving a book review or testimonial on the book that is titled The Invisible Champion. First, I must say this book is beautifully written and deeply captures what it means to give, to care, and to carry the emotional weight of others. It shines a bright light on the often overlooked truth that empathy, when poured out endlessly, can leave even the strongest heart strained. The author masterfully captured the quiet struggle of those who love deeply and give generously. In a world that celebrates the loudest of voices, this book honors the silent champions, the ones who support others without applause, even while fighting unseen battles of their own. One of the most powerful insights is a reminder that the very qualities that make us pillars for others can leave our own reservoirs empty. The book doesn't just expose that reality, it offers a gentle yet necessary call to pause, reflect, and begin the essential work of replenishing ourselves. This isn't just a book, it's a mirror. It invites us to reconsider how you navigate compassion, boundaries, and self-preservation. It reminds us that restoration is not selfish, but it's vital. So for everyone who has ever given more than they receive, felt unseen in their efforts, or struggle to balance caring for others while caring for ourselves or themselves, this book is a must-read. It's insightful, comforting, and transformational, and a 5-star indeed. Thank you.
Have you ever read a book that was so intriguing it pulled you in? that was what The Invisible Champion did for me. It was unexpected and powerful. What makes this book stand out is how deeply relatable it is to real people and real life struggles. The author captures the quiet battles we fight within ourselves, the doubts, the insecurities, and the moments when we feel unseen with such honesty that it's impossible not to see your own reflection somewhere in the pages. What resonated the most was how the book gently but firmly confronted my comfort zone. It didn't just tell a story, it invited me to examine the areas of my life where I've stayed small, out of fear or uncertainty. As I read, I felt encouraged to step into the midst of what fear instead of avoiding it. The message of The Invisible Champion is empowering, delivered in a way that feels both personal and universal. In the end, The Invisible Champion isn't just a book, it's a reminder of the strength we often overlook within ourselves. It's inspiring, thought-provoking, and deeply human. I'm genuinely glad I read it, and I recommend it to anyone who appreciates a story that encourages growth, courage, and self-discovery.
Hi, my name is Phyllis, and I want to share a moment to do a reflection, a testimonial about this fantastic book, The Invisible Champion by Tami Daley. I have known her since I was 9, and I can tell you that's many decades ago. I always knew she was brilliant. I always knew she had what it takes to reach the top, and this, my friend, is the book for that. It spoke to me to my core as a person who's always helping, never saying no, and never really getting anyone to pour back into you, never requesting anyone to pour back into you. I always have found it hard to accept praises. Listen, every chapter spoke to me, and the investment in this book will change your life. This is one of the best books on self-help that I have read in a long time. And she spoke to me, she spoke to my mind. All I can say, go out and get this. You will not regret this one moment. Take care.
There we have it, people. Video testimonials from real people. They are not AI. Let me just let you know. They are not AI. We did not create them. And so I thank all who have contributed video testimonials. Urith, Stashane, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and Phyllis, they're actually here with us as well, supporting Tamika. Let me bring Tamika back on the stage. And so let me just put another reminder, I put it in the chat as well, to use hashtag power in the comments in order for you to take advantage or win the giveaway. Reminder, the first 3 are going to be the printed books, The Invisible Champion, that will be personally signed and sent to you wherever you are in the world by her. Whether you have the book or not, it doesn't matter to us. You're getting a personally signed book by the author. Now, we know when things are signed by a celebrity, it adds... You see how she laughed? You see how she laughed? You know why she laughed? Because she's like, celebrity? Oh my God, I'm not a celebrity. Isn't that what you're saying to yourself in your mind? That is the invisible champion showing up here, the shadowing. So I'm calling her a celebrity because that is what she is. So she has to just nod, Tami. Yes, I am a celebrity. So the first 3 giveaways is going to be the printed copy of the book signed by Tami. Let's see here now. I have it. Let me add it on the stage. We have 11 entries. Let's make sure everybody is in. Should I give that? Let me see who else. Let me see. Phyllis is saying yes, because New York bestselling author, right? I don't know who she's saying to Jerry. Who is Jerry? I don't know. See? Speak. Of course, I'm speaking it into being. That's what I do. Exactly. She doesn't know it yet that she's a celebrity, but I'm telling her that she is. We're telling her that she is. You see it? She's a celebrity. And listen, you all will want to know her, but I already know her. Okay, so I'm taking claim. All right, I'm doing all this to give you guys more time. Yes? Oh, Jerry's a typo. I'm giving you guys a little bit more time to put in. Let's see here now. Power. Why is my thing not? I'm trying to bring up some more comments here. Let's see. All right, let's ignore that for the moment. So we're going to run the giveaway. Let's see how many persons. 11. So it seems like we're stuck at 11. All right, so we're going to do the first draw. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Phyllis! Let me see here now. Let's do a little drum roll for Phyllis. Let's do a little drum roll or applause for Phyllis. All right, so Phyllis, you have just won, like I mentioned, a signed copy of the book, The Invisible Champion. We're going to draw the second draw now. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, Petrona. Petrona is our second winner of a signed copy. And we're going to do the third for the printed book, signed by the author herself, celebrity Tami Daley. You ready? This is crazy. All right. And now we're going to do the final giveaway. And remember, this fourth giveaway is for the printed version of the workbook, after today's event is going to be for sale. So the person who is winning this is very fortunate to be able to get the printed version. Earlier, as a matter of fact, the QR code on the screen is still showing the PDF download. That is going to be removed after today. Yeah, so let's run this final one for a printed version of the workbook. Oh, just when you think it's good. Oh, Keisha. Keisha, congratulations to you, Keisha. You have just won the printed version of the workbook. Yes, we're doing well, people. We're doing well. Let me now pull up what did I put here? I want to do something here with you guys. The feedback survey. So the QR code is going to be on the screen now for you to give us feedback. We don't want you to miss out on that. Let me also put the link in the chat because this is really important for us to get your feedback. And of course, you can feel free to put in the chats now. What was your main takeaway after today's workshop? We did 3 major segments. We had deep discussions with Tami. We engaged with you in the comments. You all were very supportive, sharing your thoughts, feelings, opinions, celebrity status, and all of that. But let us know, what was your takeaway today? Put it in the chat. What was your takeaway today from the workshop? Taking your power back, not shrinking. Yeah, now is your time to shine. Let me put that link for the feedback in the comments so you could access that for those who may not be able to get with the QR code. Be your biggest advocate. Ooh, I see an error just occurred here on my end. 1 second. I think so many chats are coming in. Tami, are you seeing those chats? Mine has hung up here for a second.
Yeah, I see them.
Yeah. I'm not able to unhighlight. Yeah, it's stuck for me. Mine
Okay.
is literally stuck.
All right. So Miss Myrere is saying, be your biggest advocate. That's her takeaway. Keisha Caldwell, self-love. We are each important. Yours says, feed ourselves. Okay, there we are.
Yes, embrace compliments, take our power back. Let me see here. Self-love. We are each important. Believe it. I'm telling you. Let me see. What else are you seeing? Read it out for me, Tami.
Mm,
Are you seeing any more?
that's it. I'm not seeing anymore.
You're not seeing any more. Guys,
Be
tell us what is.
selfish.
What was that?
Roshi says, be selfish. Conditions applied.
I say no conditions apply. Oh, yes, conditions apply. Yes, conditions apply. I agree. Yes, pour from your overflow. Yes, awesome. Awesome, guys. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys. We're at the end of our workshop. We'd love for you to fill out that feedback survey. Let us know how we did, how I did. Let us know if this is something that, and when I say this, I mean this type of workshop format is something that you have an interest in, or you may know someone who has an interest in stepping into their power, not shrinking, who needs help with setting boundaries and to be authentic and to love on themselves and to know how to navigate the world of work or the different environments they're in, because it happens at home, it happens at work, it happens in your communities, it happens with your friendship, and so we need this type of support. How do you want that support to be for you? So that feedback survey is going to help us to determine how we could better serve you going forward. We love that you share your key insights from the workshop today. We want to acknowledge and thank you for participating, for sharing, for registering, for taking your time and spending 90 minutes with us. It's almost to the end of that 90 minutes, so I think we're doing very good on time. And I want to thank Tami for first stepping out of her comfort zone, for writing the book, for taking the leap, for stepping on the edge, and for being herself, and for being selfish when it needs to be, and for being empathetic and realizing that her life, her journey can help someone else. And she's doing it with her journaling, with her book, with her life. And that she's going to, in addition to all of us, be better versions of ourselves each day. The person we were yesterday, an hour or 90 minutes ago, is not the person that we are right now.
That's true.
And so we are so much better off right now. The rest of the day and the weekend, we would be able to be better versions and keep moving into that. And we are at the end of 2026, coming to the end. I want to wish everyone a very, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. May God's blessings be with you. And just remember what the true meaning of life is about, what really matters. My belief firmly is not about the materialistic things, it's about love. Love people. Love is important. Love on yourself and love on everybody else. Let me see what else here. Tamika, you wanted to end with a closing affirmation, but before you do that, just to remind persons, the links to connect with Tami was placed in the chat. Please connect with her. At the end of the survey, after you fill it out, you will also get those links to Tami as well as to myself. So if you miss it in the chat, you will get it when you fill out the survey and you click on submit. I like Phyllis is saying, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Even if you have to crawl, roll, however you make that step. It doesn't have to be a step with your foot. It could be with your hands, your fingers, your roll, your tumble. Once you're able to move from one point to the next. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And I want to hand over now to Tami.
Thank you so much, Corinne. And thank you so much to everyone who joined today. For those who won the prizes, the books, and the workbook, I'll be reaching out to you. I think everyone is joining from YouTube, I believe, but I'll be reaching out to you, for your information. But I just want to say that in closing, or to leave you, the truth of the matter is that the world already sees your strength as invisible champions. The world sees you, right? The challenge is with how you see yourself, and this workshop was about you seeing it too. So I just want to leave a couple of things with you. Your empathy doesn't have to drain you. Your humility doesn't require you to shrink, and you can own your light without becoming someone that you're not. So I just want to thank you once again for your support, for joining. Please share the book, give it to someone. It's Christmas that's coming, so it would make a good gift if you liked it. And don't forget to review on Amazon. Thank you. Thank you all so much. And Corinne, thank you so much for, curating this for me and doing such an amazing job today. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.